Hi, I'm Spiders, a top 50 Gale main, and here is, in my opinion, the best Specter Path Gale build you can make. Let's get into it. First things first, here are the stats. You may notice that this is fairly similar to my last build stats, but the major differences come from aspects outside of just stats, which you will see later in this video. This is a PvP centered build, by the way, so this will be reflected here. These stats are based off the talents needed to optimize this build, which you'll see in the talent section. One thing I'd like to mention is that even after the tap adventure changes, I still believe it's worth it to go 65 agility on this build. On Gale builds, you roll cancel a lot, especially on offense. Also, since this is a Specter Path build, you have to dodge a lot in order to charge the Specter bar as well, so tap dancer has a pretty noticeable impact. There's also other talents for high agility like Ghost and Steady Nerves that support dodging, so I still think it's worth it to go 65 agility, at least on this build. Besides that, I'll mention why I went specific stat allocations in the talent section. Also, here's the pre-shrine stat order, pretty standard for most pre-shrine reinforced armor builds. Onto the talent section, first we have Kickoff. Kickoff is just pretty good for basic vertical mobility, combined with Star Kindred can take you pretty far. Here are the intelligence talents. Every changing Aegis is very good for attunement users. It also has a pretty short cooldown for when it resets as well, from what I've heard. And Perfect Flash procs sometimes. It's helpful, better than not having it. Potion Quaver. This is really the only talent you need now for potions. Potions are very strong, so I recommend going this, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Triathlete is very good for ganks. You pretty much need this for water, otherwise you'll be at a very big disadvantage. And here we go, basic reinforced armor talents. Ghost and other dodge talents make your dodges better. Dazing Finisher and Chaotic Charm talents just directly give you more damage and defense as well, and Dazing Finisher can be very good for combos. Also, we have Harsh Response. Harsh Response is kind of like Unwavering Resolve, but just on the other end. It makes your opponents get back 50% less posture when pairing your attacks, which is very good. You pretty much need this if you want to posture break your opponent, in my opinion. Grant support for healing. And here are the Duelist talents, 2 posture after the update, so you should probably go this in most builds. Mind Cutter can be pretty helpful in Gale builds, especially since you have pretty high mobility from Inhale. You can get behind your opponents sometimes. Steady Nerves, 45 agility, 15 strength. So I actually have to go this post shrine, 45 agility, which in my opinion is worth it, especially after the scaling nerf with the Hero Blade. It's totally fine to just take some points out of Gale and put it into your stats if you have something that you want to get. So keep that in mind. This gives you posture and also tempo back as well when you dodge, which can be very helpful sometimes. So it's definitely worth it to go with this talent in my opinion. And tap range as well. Like I said earlier, pretty noticeable in my opinion. I recommend still going this. Mental Rebound. It's got nerfed a little bit ago, but it's better than nothing, so just for more tempo, might as well go it. Fishman plus 5 HP. Exoskeleton doesn't really need an explanation to finish as well. These are just very good for improving your tankiness. And also your standard Gale talents, very good. Go this on every Gale build pretty much. Neuro plus 1 Mantra slot, also less ether, which is okay I guess. I also went Felnor in this slot, which is pretty good for overworld, so you don't really need to go this race, but if you want to, might as well. Also Call Out, you see No-Go using it sometimes, pretty good for overworld as well. Pretty much just gives you ESP if you use it correctly. Okay, also here we have Air Pressure and Wind Step. To give you good mobility, especially Wind Step. You could probably just not go Air Pressure if you don't want to, but it's nice as well to have. Wind Step is very good though, especially after the card merge, so definitely go this. Last Resort. Last Resort is the reason why I went 35 willpower instead of 30 pre-shrine. Since based on the way that Shrine of Order works, it will only end up taking like 1 extra point away from Gale Breath in the end, so it's totally worth it. And significantly low, I'm pretty sure means when you're below 25% health, so this will actually be pretty helpful for a fair portion of the fight. At least in Chime matches, because in overworld when you're below 25% health, you'll probably be running most of the time, but I mean, it could still be clutch. Old Habits Die Hard. Pretty sure this is helpful for reducing the amount of posture damage taken, but I haven't really tested it myself, so I'm not really sure how good it is, but also plus 5 HP is not too bad. Or Pen. Warrior Spite, you can probably knock with this if you don't want to, since, you know, you can always just place a campfire, so there's not much of use for this, but it's up to you. Disbelief, very important for Vision Shapers, and also pretty good against people with Charm, so be sure to pick this up at some point throughout the progression. And Prophet's Cloak talent. Ardor, of course. Pretty much every PvP build goes Ardor. And you want to pick this up as well, just for more posture management. Here's Lightspeed Reflexes, sometimes helpful, but it takes a little bit of skill to actually use effectively in a fight. I'd say just pick this up anyways though, because sometimes it can just randomly help you when you're monster fainting, which you'll do a lot in this build. Unwavering Resolve, this is very important to have, especially after the buff where you get plus 2 posture instead of 1. So be sure to pick this up. Part of the reason why this build is 40 strength as well, so be sure to get this. Golden Time, pretty useful for getting ether during a fight, especially when you're out of tempo. And also the buff is nice to have as well, similar to Reinforce, so might as well pick this up. And here we have all the Specter talents. Honestly, you probably get away with not going Possession since This talent really drains your Specter, which is pretty annoying, and you also have to be above 50% Spectral, and it also does like 1% damage, so really not great for an advanced talent in my opinion. This build is also Star Kindred. I decided to go Star Kindred instead of like Dawnwalker and Contractor like on my other builds because Star Kindred just has super good mobility, which is good for Overworld, and also Sinister Halo is pretty good. You can use the other mantras if you want to, but it's really up to you. Sinister Halo is the best in my opinion though. Cheap shot, just more pen, no reason not to go it. Speed Demon, pretty much go this on every build these days. More damage, why not? Same with this, Maestro's Blade, more damage. Chronostasis, this can be helpful against combo users and also for posture. Scuba Drowner, plus 5 HP. Showstopper. Showstopper is really strong since it basically just prevents your opponent from playing the game normally by being able to dodge. And also hides your animations, so definitely pick this up. Onto Gale, leader for Specter Path, gives you more damage as well. Art of Nerves for the posture. You could swap this out with something else if you don't want to. More posture is always better, so pick this up in my opinion. Perfect Slumber, you can get rid of this if you don't want to, since most of the time if you're knocked, you're basically dead anyways. From Reaper or just getting gripped, so you don't really need it, and this doesn't matter too much. Okay, so next for the mantras, there isn't really anything too interesting here, so I won't spend too much time on it. But basically, you just go Bloodless on most of the mantras. You could go Wind Gem on Gale if you want. But yeah, you go Bloodless on all of it pretty much. Go Blue Gem on Reinforce obviously, and Gale since those don't do anything with Bloodless. And only thing I'll mention is the mods. Here we have 3 Rush Shards, 3 Drift Shards, and Astral Wind, which is what I recommend. See my How to Master Astral Wind video if you want. And past that also, one passage, you put Perfect Lenses on it. All this other stuff is just base, it's the same. Make sure you level it up to max as well, pretty obvious. So yeah, nothing too crazy here. Also, I recommend using Sinister Halo from Star Kindred. You can use a different Star Kindred mantra instead of Sinister Halo if you want to, but you need something to activate the wings, so pick something up. Okay, so moving on to the equipment, one thing you should notice is that I actually went the Silver 6 in this build. So this is something you don't really have to do, but I decided to try it out since I've seen other top players use this. If you get the Advanced Starter Echoes, you can start with the Silver 6 and use it as a side gun for this build. It's really up to you if you want to do this, but I sort of just wanted to try it out, see how good it is. Even though you have 0 light scaling on this build, it can still be useful, so pick it up if you want to, you don't need to though. Yeah, besides that, here we have this Prophet's Cloak, pretty much go this on every mantra build, not too surprising. Pretty good Iron Singer here. If I didn't have a 10 Ether roll on it, it would be pretty much God roll, but unfortunately not. Also have Multiplicity on it, make sure to pick up this enchant if you can. Really one of the best enchants in the game, so try to pick this up. Moonlit Earrings, plus 2 HP, best earrings. Same with the mask, plus 5% shadow armor, best mask. Authority Helmet, even though I'm using side guns, so I'm not normally two-handing, sometimes I actually do two-hand, especially against strong left users, you probably want to be two-handing. When you need more posture, you should two-hand, so it's up to you if you want to do this. I also have Drowned on this, which isn't the best in my opinion, but I'll probably reroll for another enchant later. Same with Star Boots, I'm waiting until I get better ones, and then I'll probably get Balance or Viscosity or another enchant on it. We have 1 posture Congress Clutch Ring, could be 2 posture, but those are kind of hard to get. Same with Ring of Pestilence, 1 posture, 3 HP, which is a type of god roll for 2-star Ring of Pestilence, but I personally rather have 2 posture. This is a god rolled Akira's Ring, 3 posture, 3 HP, can't get any better than that. Really prioritizing the posture here. And 2 posture Rodents. Unfortunately do not have any other 3 posture rings, but I'll get one eventually. And here's a god roll Confessor's Charm, 13 HP, 10 ether, 3% physical. This is pretty much the best Confessor's Charm, best Forza that you can get, so be sure to try and get this. Okay, so moving on to the summary. You'll see I have 37 posture, so that might seem like a lot, but really if you start PvPing a lot, you'll notice that having a high posture is really important right now, especially against the 2 mindless users, so this is really worth it. It's really important to go high posture, so make sure you pick up all those talents that I mentioned earlier that give you posture. 522 HP as well, which is pretty good. Nothing too crazy though, and 30% physical, 30% elemental armor, pretty standard. So really this build doesn't have anything insanely crazy like 600 HP, that kind of stuff, but it's pretty balanced as well. And I also took a pretty high priority on talents instead of going stats, so keep that in mind. Okay, so that was my best Specter build. Let me know if you plan on going this build. Subscribe for more Top Go content, and see you in the next one.